Hello everyone! Welcome to another video. This video, as the chalkboard suggests, is going to be about Datapacks. So it's going to be different, it's going to be different to my usual video about just like how to make a cool looking model and actually put it in the game. And yeah, since most people have been calling that coding, at first I wanted to make a actual thing where you made something at the end, but I decided that maybe I should first explain the basics of Datapacks, and only then actually, make a thing. So that making the thing will probably be a weapons datapack, combined with a research pack. So you're gonna, at the end of that video, have like a cool 3D modeled weapon, or 2D, and then if you, for instance, right-click it, it does something. Right, that's what I'd be thinking, because, I mean, you all know how to already make a weapon in 3D models, right? I mean, you just do the exact same thing, but then change some names. It shouldn't be that hard, right? Right? Anyhow, right. So, like I said, this is going to be a generic video about Datapacks. So, what that means is that we're just going to explain the basics of Datapacks, explain some of the folder structure. And that also means that anytime that anyone asks for help in my Discord, I could just link this video instead. And also, if I ever make, I can just link this video in any future videos about Datapacks too, because, future-proofing. It's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, right. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I'm just going to explain how Datapacks work, and going to show you a structure of a Datapack that does absolutely nothing, except for, have some messages in the chat, right? And then I'll also put that in the description down below, and that's gonna be great. Anyhow, that's gonna be it for this intro thingy, and now I'm just gonna actually step into, actual tutorial-esque thing, and, explain stuff, right? Yeah! So yeah, let's, get started, I guess. Okay, so, first of all, what programs do you need for this? Well, admittedly, this was also in the first frame of the video, which, if you looked at that and downloaded everything you needed to, great, you can skip this part, feel free to skip this part. If you didn't, then, first of all, shame on you, and second of all you need is a Visual Studio Code for this tutorial. However, there are also some extensions for Visual Studio Code which make it better. Alright, so with Visual Studio Code open, you have a button right here called Extensions. For you, it will probably be the lowest button. I have a thing called Live Share underneath of it. You probably won't have that. So yeah. Just this button, extensions, and that shows this menu. And here you see all the extensions that I have, and you'll probably have none of these. So these two I have disabled because I don't understand how they work, and they weren't really working well, so those are completely ignorable. So then let's really quickly just do that. Okay. So you have this one, which I heavily advise. It adds syntax highlighting and stuff. And some autocomplete functions, really useful. This one also adds syntax highlighting, and using them both is what I use. I don't really know why, but I'd also advise to use this one, because they're really useful, just for Minecraft functions and stuff. Then you have Live Share, which you don't need. Live Share is, if any of you have used Google Docs, you know how it works. Basically, you just have, you can all work in the same document at the same time. So what LiveShare does is you're able to share your entire project with someone else, and you can both code at the same time on the same thing. Which is useful if you have questions and want me to help you do your thing. But generally it's just hey, I want to work on this project with my friend, and we can both code at the same time. Quite useful. Then you have Model Viewer, which I don't really use that much. I just felt like it was cool, and it gives you a view of a 3D model. Now MBT Viewer is very, very useful, just not really for datapacks. The only thing that is useful for datapacks is that you can see here, it shows 3D structures. So if you have a structure block and save an entire structure, then you can get an entire magnificent preview of it. Absolutely very useful. And Minecraft MBT is like you can look at player data from a save, which is very cool. I really like it. And then you have MC Build language, which adds syntax highlighting for MC Build, which is something that I want to get into, but I've never really had the time to learn it. And I've been planning to get into it for a couple months now. But it's not at all relevant for this, and probably not for any tutorial in the future either. Yeah, that's also what I advise is these two is what you need. This one is very useful if you have a friend that you want to do this with. So none of you. Then you have this one, which is just 3D models. And then you have this one, which is data. And this is something else. Now how you get these is, let me really quickly uninstall Datapack Helper Plus. And can I? Yes. Oh, that was a link. That was a link. I knew that was a link. I was just testing if you people knew that was a link. Okay, copy that. And uninstall. Reload required. Okay, reload required. Okay. So now I don't have that anymore, as you see. And now if I go here and search it, right there, then you see a whole long list of things that are completely non-related. But the top one, Datapack Helper Plus. Right there. Installed. Bam, I have it. Now there are a bunch of other, like, most of these are not Minecraft related because Visual Studio Code is used for programming generally. And outside of Minecraft, you know. So like C++, you know, loads of stuff, you know. It's pretty big. But people can make their own extensions and stuff. But that's complicated. But yeah, that's basically that. You can now just, you know, get your plugins, extensions, thingies that you need. And just like that. Really useful. Anyway, onto the actual tutorial bit teaching you how Datapacks work instead of teaching you how to use Visual Studio Code. Alright, so before we can get working on the Datapack, what we need is to put the Datapack in the folder that we want it to be. So I put it in just my command school world, but I have that open on another account right now, so it's locked. So I can't do this there. So I'm just gonna, you know, say that I'm in my superheroes world, right? So what you do is you click on your world, you click edit, right? And then you have open world folder. And that's the main thing. And then it just opens like your explore menu into your world. And you have that right there. And you can like make a shortcut to it. You can save the URL path, I don't know. Whatever you want. But you just that's your world that you want your Datapack in. So yes, let's go over to there right now. Okay, so now that we're here, you can see that there are quite a lot of things here. Most of these are not relevant, however, for us, however, because all that matters is the Datapacks folder. Now you can see in here I already have superhero things, which means that that's not the folder that I want. I want Command School, but that was locked, so I couldn't open that. So instead I'll just, you know, navigate over to here. So then you have the Datapacks folder, great. In here, I have tutorial. You want to put the thing from the description in there, in this folder right here. Also, you need to make sure that it's not a zip, because zip files are useful for Datapacks in the degree of they work well. However, you can't edit them, really. So you need to make sure it's not a zip file. And you need to make sure that if you open the folder, then you have the MC meta file right there. That should be how I zipped it, so you just get this empty meta file right there. If I did it wrong, then you'll have Datapack here instead. Yeah, as long as there's an empty meta file right there, it's good. Otherwise, just go into the folder again, and then you'll have an empty meta file right there. Depends on how I zipped it, honestly. But yeah, now that there's an empty meta file right here, I can right-click and say Open with Code, right? If I do that, then it opens my code editor. And the most important thing is that that opened it with this folder, right? So I don't have any files open, but you can see I can open them. So you can see, wow, made by command Witchery. How epic. And I can just, you know, open multiple files at once, and it's really useful. And I can just navigate around. And if there's any errors, what I can, you know, what you can do is just send a screenshot of this whole menu, and I know immediately where all your files are, how they all work together, what links to what, and I can tell you where your mistake is way more easily than with 10 screenshots of Windows Explorer. So yeah, it's honestly really useful. Right, so on to actual, you know, the files and what they do. Okay. So first of all, let's just ignore all the things that I added, and let's just go to Minecraft tags, functions, and these two files, right? So first of all, you have the, actually, let's just say you have the data folder. Inside of there is where you put your data, right, for your data pack. Then you have namespaces. So what a namespace is a folder with a name. And you name it after your project, or after you, or something like that. And you have here Minecraft, because Minecraft uses Minecraft as its namespace. Generally. There are some Realms has a different thing for some reason. I don't really know why. Yeah, it generally just uses Minecraft, right? So inside of Minecraft you have tags. Inside of that you have functions. That doesn't really matter because this is dictated by Minecraft. This is them saying, hey, this is how you put it. This is how you define your file. And then it does stuff, right? So instead of here you have load.json. So this simply specifies a file that is gonna do stuff. So this specifies a function instead of the Datapack tutorial namespace, which is called load. Right? Simple. And that function is going to happen whenever you load the world. So that it is joining the world in a single player world, and on a server it is when you restart it, or when you do /reload. Good. So I can go to there with Control click, and you can see right here as well. This function loads anytime it does reload, or if you join a single player world, or if you start a server in a multiplayer world, blah blah blah. That's fine in there. I did my very best to comment a lot of things. So anything with a hashtag in front of it is a comment, which means it does nothing. So that's where I put all the explanations for what every single thing does. Which is a lot of work, and I generally don't do it, but since this is supposed to explain stuff, I did do it with basically everything. So over here you have, just like load, you have tick, which happens every single tick, so 20 times a second. So 20 times a second, this function gets run. So once every tick, 20 times a second, as defined there. So all that tick does here is say, I want to run a command as every single player that is online at my position. So it says, hey, I want to run a command as player command Witchery at my location, but that's run as command Witchery, so add command Witchery's position, basically. And I want to run the command function, and then you specify the function, which is in namespace Datapack tutorial. So this namespace, there's a function called player, so that links to this file. Now this is run 20 times a second for every single player. So here I say, hey, title at S action bar. So I want to just display something on my action bar saying this is in your action bar. So this is just displaying some text, basically. And this is happening as the player. But if this is fully multiplayer compatible, you won't have any issues. You could also just put this instead of tick, but I wanted... If you have hundreds of commands, it is significantly more efficient to have a player latency function. So even though it's not needed in this example, it is needed on a large scale of things, so I'm giving you the right way to do it just from the very beginning. So then from load, which I kind of skipped over because I wanted to explain that you had a tick.json here too. So inside of load, what you have is a say command, which puts it in the chat, the text, load, and that's in the chat. Then here, we're gonna get into scoreboards, which is good fun. I love scoreboards. Life was such a pain before they were added. Okay. So, a scoreboard objective is kind of like statistics. Your statistics menu. So there, a bunch of them are literally just copied from statistics. And whenever you do an action from statistics, like break a dirt block, if you specify that that's the action that the scoreboard is linked to, that's when it goes up. So I can say scoreboard objectives add dirt, which is mind dirt. So now dirt will go up by 1 every time that someone breaks dirt. But the main thing is that this isn't actually statistics. So what this does is you can, for most of them, still change the numbers. So I can make it go up by 1 every time that someone breaks dirt. Say for every single player who has a score of 1, I broke dirt in the chat, and then set it to 0 for every single player. Meaning that I can detect someone breaking dirt. Simple. Yeah, what this is a dummy. And what a dummy is it does not increase on its own. It just doesn't. Yeah, so basically I say, hey, I want to have I want to do something for scoreboards. It's for an objective. I want to make a new objective called dt.config. Now, what does this mean? dt dot is basically just because if two people add a scoreboard objective with the same name, then you have problems because one of them won't exist and then their entire data pack doesn't work. So you want to make sure that no one else has the same name. So what you do is you prefix it with something. So you just add some bit of text that's unique to you before your name of your objective. So what this is dt dot standing for Datapack tutorial dot the name. Right? If you want to do some unique version of your own, you can do that. I just name it after the Datapack. Yeah, and then I name it config, because this is the config of your Datapack. And the dummy means it doesn't increase on its own. It just, everyone has their values that they have, and you can only change it with command blocks or Datapacks. So slash scoreboard player set, simple. And now here I say I want to run a command, and I don't want to run a command if the score of the player called $version. Now this is a bit confusing, I'll get back to that. But the player called $version, if they don't have a score of config that is 1000, I'm gonna do this. So what this is saying, hey, I want to check, does the player version have a score of 1000 for dt-config? If it does, don't do it. Ta-da. And then I set the player version to have a score of 1000. So while this function loads every single time that someone does reload, this function happens once. But then if you update it, so now there's going to be a version 1.1, then I do that. And then everyone who has downloaded your Datapack has the value of 1000 for that player. But then that suddenly doesn't matter anymore because that's not the number that you're checking anymore. So then update gets run. So if you have loads of things that you want to do one time, so all of your scoreboards, all of your thingies, all of them, you want to do once, but you don't want to do every single time that you load, because that reload gets very laggy. Like, if you have one data pack, it's fine, but if you have hundreds of data packs, which most people don't, like, but even like dozens, it still gets like, it still takes a couple of seconds for everything to reload, which is fine. But this is more efficient and better in my humble opinion. Right. So then, I said that this is a player name, but why does it have a dollar symbol? Right. So, this works just as well. Then why did I add a dollar symbol? So some people use dollar symbol, some people use percent symbol. Both work just fine. But yeah, what the thing is that if you don't use any of those symbols that are unique to, basically those symbols are not allowed to be used in player names. That's the whole reason that we use them, because this can never be a player. And otherwise, I think the reason is that you can have issues if a player changes their name or something like that. If there's a player whose name is version, then you have a big issue if that does stuff, basically. So, just to be safe, you have a fake player who can never ever be a player. So you add a dollar symbol in front of every single fake player. Yeah, that's basically that. So yeah, then, if the score hasn't been set to 1,000 yet, which happens just one row later, but it hasn't been done yet, then you run this function. Also, the 1,000 stands for the version, so 1.0.0. If you want to change the numbering symbol, you can do whatever you want. I just feel like this is neat. But yeah, anyhow, right. So all that this function does at the moment is just say, update log. So because this data pack doesn't do anything, so all that this is going to do is just put the text update log in the chat. So that's what I generally do with my cool data packs, is I have an update log. So every single version I say, hey, I added this, I added that, I deleted that, I deleted that, I added this. And that's what you generally put on, like, Planet Minecraft. They have a section for that. But I felt like I wanted something in the game as well, so I did this. And it works pretty well. Now, the thing is that while this works really well for a finished version, if you want to add new scoreboard objectives in every single test, this is going to be an issue, because it only runs once, but then you edit it and it doesn't know it, so then you would have to change all of these numbers constantly. So what you can instead do is keep version to a different number in this command. Meaning that, is it 1,000? No, run this command, and then you say, hey, set the version to 100. And then it's like, hey, is it? No, because it's 100 now, not 1,000. So then you check it, and every single time that you run load, you run update. And then once it's a finished version, you update it to the new number, basically. Yeah, that should be most of it, right? Except for one last function, which is never actually automatically run, called uninstall, which is, it uninstalls the Datapack. So yeah, I am not the best at adding these. I kind of forget generally, because it's one of those things that you kind of just, like, need to do, and then kind of forget, and then, it's bad, but hey, it's fine. So what this does is, scoreboard objectives remove dt.config, and basically this function is generally the exact opposite of load. So it just, every scoreboard objective that is added, you remove. Because if someone wants to remove your data pack, they want to make sure that it's not messy anymore. There aren't, like, dozens of scoreboard objectives. And you add dozens in data packs. Honestly, you add a lot of these. Like, a lot. But, you want to clean it up for people. So, like, you remove them. And then you disable the data pack. You should, like, there's an autocomplete function in vanilla Minecraft. And I honestly... Oh, that's not the right button. this system is on. I honestly don't understand why they did it like this. But yeah, it's dependent on the name of the data pack. But if it's a zip file, it's different. Which is kind of problematic, because if someone has it as a zip file, they need to run a different command than if they don't have it as a zip file. But yeah, I don't know. It, you should disable the data pack, but I don't really know why. Or no, I know why, I just don't really know how. So either like this or like .zip, I think, if it's a zip file. So yeah, I should probably just keep it as that, actually. Because people using your datapack will, in all likelihood, use it as a .zip file instead of a just normal file. Folder, not zip file. Folder, yes. Anyhow, right, and then it just, once again, pressing the wrong button. It just says in the chat, datapack disabled. At which point the user will delete your datapack from the folder and everything is fine. But yeah, that's all the basics of what this is explained, and I put a lot of time into thinking of what I wanted this all to look like, and I put a lot of time in commenting everything. But yeah, everything is fine. I didn't waste a very long time making all the comments, and everything is great. So yeah, if you want to look through this, and that's what I really advise you all to do. Don't just listen to me, but just download this from the description and start messing with things. Like, what if you add right here, say hi, in the player function? What does that? What does it do? Type this reload in your game and try it out. You get a lot of spam in your chat, and you remove it instantaneously, and you reload as quickly as you can again. But you know, experimentation. It's really cool. Yeah, I really hope that you all, you know, kind of learn something. Yeah, that's kind of the very basics of Datapacks. This is kind of the level that command blocks can still kind of do. And there are things that Datapacks add that are really, you know, on a whole other level than command blocks. Like, you can add loot tables, which can check things and randomize stuff, and you can use them in combination with command blocks. Sorry, not command blocks, just running commands, which is what I tend to do. I kind of dislike data packs that are purely like, I add recipes that are not at all balanced. Or, you know, I change loot tables to make leaves drop diamond helmets. You know, it's all kind of pointless to me. I tend to enjoy just the, you know, making things awesome. And just the real coding aspect of Datapacks. Because you can use generators for the other things generally. But yeah, if any of you are interested in making a slightly more advanced tutorial, but still in this fashion, so like explaining how you add loot tables, predicates, things like that, let me know in the comments section. But yeah, that's all said and done. That's basically it. So yeah, great. I don't really know why I'm not stopping talking now, but yeah, let's just press F10, I guess, to stop recording now. Yeah, bye. Alright, so yeah, that was basically it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed and learned something. So yeah, once again, because I'm kind of a broken record, the Datapack is down in the description, and I advise you looking at it. It's you know, you learn a lot from looking at it yourself as well. Yeah, with that all said and done, that's basically it. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like down below. It helps a lot. And yeah, I can do this. Isn't that awesome? This is not done in editing. I can just, yeah, I can do this. It's really cool, and I spent decent time coding that. I'm scrolling on my hotbar, and it actually changes the FOV of the camera account. It doesn't change the FOV. It gives them a slowness effect attribute. That, you know, changes their FOV because of the setting thingy. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's kind of pointless, but you know, the best features are generally. Anyhow, right, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm kind of rambling, so I'll just leave through my awesome door, which I still love. And I kind of forgot that I wanted to also say some extra things. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day, everyone, and goodbye.